Hey guys, what's up? I thought I'd do a review of this Horipad controller for PS4. Um, I really like it. I think it's worth the purchase, and so I thought I'd do a little review on it. So it is a wired controller. The wire is about 10 feet. You will notice with wired controllers that the response is a little faster. That's why I prefer it now over wireless controllers. It's just that split second of time that you'll notice it makes up for in those close call situations. Um, so yeah, you can see I kind of modified mine. That's just rubber bands and hot glue. I know it looks kind of sketchy. It looks kind of weird, but I wasn't going for looks. Um, I just wanted a little bit better grip. As you can see, it's like a smooth plastic. Mine's in blue, by the way. You can also get it in black or red, but it's a very smooth plastic, and if your hands start to sweat, it will get kind of slippery. So that's why I did that, but you don't have to do that. It's just your call. So as far as the weight goes, it's pretty light. There's no battery pack in it, so because it's wired, it's very light. It's bigger than the DualShock, as you can see. I have my DualShock right here. It's noticeably bigger. The grips are a little fatter, but it's a lot like the 360 controller. I haven't had a lot of experience with those, but and obviously these sticks are like an Xbox controller, which you know is not preferred. I'd rather them be you know symmetrical, but you get used to it after a while. So um, yeah, so like I said, the sticks. I mean, the grips are a lot bigger than the DualShock. And when you first hold it, you're gonna be like, "What is this? This is too chunky in my hand. I cannot get used to it." But you have to give it some time, and I promise you will get used to it. So yeah, everything works like really responsive on it. The face buttons are good. They actually are a little higher. Sorry, let me turn this around. They sit a little higher, as you can see on like the DualShock 4. They're pretty flat. On this though, they sit a little taller. It doesn't really make a difference in gameplay. They're pretty responsive. The D-pad's just one big, cross. It's pretty responsive. I don't notice any problems with that. Um, these sticks themselves, again, they're staggered like the Xbox. You'll get used to it. They're actually very sensitive. Um, I've noticed in the past with like PS3 third-party controllers that the sticks like had huge dead zones and you just couldn't fine aim with them. Uh, it's not the case with this. I've noticed no dead zones with these. I was pretty impressed actually. I guess because it's an FPS geared controller that they really spent a lot of time into the sensitivity of the sticks. Um, so yes, those are very good, and they're both dipped in the middle. I don't know if you can see that, but they the I actually prefer putting a control freak on the right analog stick, and if you're wondering, they do actually fit. You just have to kind of push them on there a little harder. PS4 ones will fit on there just fine. Um, so I guess I'll talk about the triggers now. Oh, by the way, the touchpad works great. It clicks, and sharing options work just as you'd expect. Um, so L1 and R1. Probably I don't like these too much. They're kind of mushy, and I just don't like if you hit on the left side, only the left side goes down. On the right side, only the right goes down. That doesn't matter for gameplay. It triggers in gameplay just fine, and it registers fine. It's just a feel sort of thing that I don't like, and I wish it was a little. I wish the triggers in general were a little flatter, so you kind of could press it down instead of at an angle. Um, but they work just fine. Your L2 and R2, there's a lot of misconceptions with these. They are actual buttons rather than triggers. As you see on the regular DualShock, these are like spring-loaded, I guess you could call it. So these have a long range of motion, where these are just buttons. But I have noticed that they do have they are pressure sensitive, meaning like if you just press it a little bit, it kind of semi triggers it, and then just pressing it that much more, triggers all the way. It's not an all or nothing deal where just one press, and it's fully registering in the game 100%. I've noticed if you go into like a replay mode in Madden or NBA 2K, if you press it like the R2 down a little bit, the replay will go slow motion, and then all the way, just that much more, it'll go in fast motion. So there is a range of motion, it's just very short. Um, but it was made for FPS games where you'd only have to press it to aim and fire, so I understand that. It works for driving games, but it's just not ideal. So I think the last thing I'll do is go over the turbo and assign button. I'm gonna show you guys. I have Battlefield 1 loaded up here. I'm gonna show you guys how that works in a second. But the last thing is just the target button on the back. You can read that. What you do is you hold it down as you're aiming, and there's a switch here. There's two switches. One of these, this controls whether it's on PS3 or PS4. I only use it for PS4, so it's always to the left. But the target button, actually what it does is it lowers the sensitivity of this right stick. So all the way to the right is like the highest sensitivity could be, so it doesn't slow it down as much. And then the middle, it slows it down a little more, and then all the way to the left, it slows it down quite a bit. Um, I personally don't use it too much. I just never got used to it. I mean, I guess I'm right-handed, as you know most people are, and whoever designed it must have been left-handed because it's on the left, and I don't really find it in the heat of battle. I don't really go to it, but maybe you can. It kind of helps slow down your aim if you're using a sniper rifle, for example. But yeah, and the PS buttons here, it works fine. Uh, so the last thing I'm gonna do is show you how the turbo button works. The assign is okay. I might show you it, I might not. It just switches. You know, you can switch the face buttons to the triggers. I don't think the D-pad is involved, or the sticks, but it's not really useful because you can do that in the PlayStation's accessibility settings anyway. So you don't got to worry about that. But I'm just going to show you how the turbo button works, and yeah. All right. So again, I'm going to show you how the turbo function works on this controller. So all you have to do is hold turbo, and then whatever button you'd like to set rapid fire. I'm pretty sure only the face buttons and triggers work for this, so in this case I'm going to do the R2 button because that's what Battlefield 1 is. So you just press it as you're holding turbo, and as you can see, this gun, I forget what it's called, the auto loading something. It's a single shot, it's semi-auto, but as you can see, is full auto, and that's actually very useful because guns like this one, for example, have a very pretty low recoil, and it also depends on what the cap in the game is for how fast it can fire. Some other semi-auto guns don't fire as fast, but I know this one. That's a pretty big advantage of you not having to press the trigger at all. Again, with this is a revolver. See, that's a good example that has a lower fire rate. So I think it's pretty useful. Overall, I'd really recommend this controller. It's not even that expensive. It's as much, if not cheaper. You probably find it even cheaper than just a regular DualShock 4, and you know, it's pretty worth it. I'd go for it. So yeah, thanks for watching.